TV channels, and a vast collection of DVDs and records. "You won't be left wanting," they promised. They went into great detail about the intricacies of the house, attempting to point their iPad's camera at the kitchen sink, the guest bedrooms — I could choose from 3, the husband's recording studio full of instruments — hobbyist only, I was welcome to use — the wife's painting studio — please don't disturb — their meditation room, the deck hot tub, the backyard swimming pool, the indoor fireplace, the outdoor fire pit. I wasn't able to make out much beyond the outlines of items frozen on the screen and the owners' voices often cut out. It was, however, clear how beautiful the place would be in person, how it would be an escape from my living situation, an escape from the stomping of the neighbors in the apartment upstairs, the sirens of passing ambulances and fire trucks, the strange smell emanating from beneath the kitchen sink, the persistent hum coming from some unknown part of the building. I nodded and took notes while the owners talked. They liked that. I could see the digital jerks of their nodding heads, their disjointed smiles through the screen. They told me I was wonderful, something I hadn't heard in a long time. I was susceptible to praise. I felt a warmth rise up from my legs into my chest, the sense that my life was back on its intended path. They asked me to promise that I would take the very best care of their home and dog, and, most of all, they hoped I would benefit from the space, which they called, euphemistically, a beautiful retreat from the world's increasing chaos. I had never been on a retreat, let alone worked a job described as a retreat. I told Catherine and Eric, those were their names, that I would be most appreciative of the opportunity. On the day of my arrival, I was late, and the couple had only 15 minutes to show me around their home before their driver would arrive and take them to the nearest airport 2 hours away. The house was more secluded than I had realized, which was why it had taken me so long to get there, by train, then bus, then taxi for the last remote leg into the woods. Catherine and Eric were gracious and told me not to apologize. They hugged me on the porch and welcomed me in through a giant arched wooden door with matching arched window panes. The house was a California arts and crafts revival, according to the owners. It had an open concept layout, a long, gigantic room where spaces flowed naturally from one to another based on the arrangement of furniture, all of which had an elegance and warmth that shocked me into silent appreciation. None of it was ostentatious, which made it all the more desirable. The floors were made of beautiful wide slats of blonde wood, finished perfectly, not too shiny or too matte, the natural grain adding warmth to the space. There was an entire wall of floor-to-ceiling windows, framed in that same beautiful blonde wood which overlooked the forest. 2 panels slid open onto a wraparound deck. The house was high up in the hills of Northern California, where the redwoods reigned. Though the house technically fell within the borders of a nearby town, it was in one of those areas that had its own unofficial name used by everyone in the know who lived there, indicating it was far nicer than whatever was in the flats. From the deck, all I could see were the old trees cascading down, down, down. If I squinted, I could make out the blue of Monterey Bay in the beyond. There were no other houses in sight, though I knew from the drive up that a few were tucked away like this one, hidden along the hillside. The couple's dog, Georgia, followed us wherever we went, panting and rubbing her body against our legs, especially mine. I scratched her from neck to butt, which made her pant harder and left my jeans covered in her white lab hairs. "She likes you," said Catherine. "What a wonderful sign." The couple seemed to believe in signs. "We'd just about given up on the trip when we heard about you," Catherine relayed as Eric "mmmed" and "hmmed" in agreement. "It was the most perfect timing, a wonderful sign that this was meant to be." Catherine said she and Eric had fallen in love with this house because of a sign. The previous owners were selling the house fully furnished.